The fall before the rise, hook and setup. The stars blinked silently in the vast, cold expanse of space as the alien fleet cruised through the void. It was the perfect day for a hunt. At least, that's what the Xalorians thought. The Xalorians had conquered countless worlds. For centuries, they had ruled the stars with a ruthless grip, always at the top of the food chain. Their technology was unmatched, their weapons sharp, and their ships were like shadows in the night, silent and deadly. To the Xalorians, every life form they encountered was just prey. And like any predator, they had learned to fear nothing. But that was before Earth. The Xalorian fleet had arrived at the edge of the solar system without warning, as they often did, ready to destroy or enslave whatever they found. Their advanced scanners had picked up the humans' primitive weapons and defenses, and they expected a swift and easy conquest. In their minds, Earth was nothing more than a tiny, insignificant speck in the galaxy, a world full of weak creatures who would never stand a chance. However, the Xalorians had underestimated humanity's greatest strength, its unpredictability. For weeks, they watched from afar, studying Earth's communications, its technology, its people. The humans seemed so primitive. They had no true interstellar capabilities, no mighty fleets. Their armies were small, their weapons crude. What could these creatures do? The Xalorians chuckled at the thought. It was almost laughable. But then something happened. Something that sent a chill through the hearts of even the most hardened Xalorian commanders. A signal. It started as a whisper in the void, a simple, yet somehow terrifying message transmitted from Earth to the stars. It wasn't a cry for help, as they had expected. It wasn't a plea for mercy. No, this was something else. Something darker, something more dangerous. Come and take it. Those words were the beginning of the end. The Xalorians thought it was a mistake. After all, what could these fragile humans possibly mean? The signal didn't make sense at first. There was no clear threat, no warning. Just a challenge, a promise of a fight. But then, they started to notice something strange. On Earth, all across the planet, strange things began happening. The humans began to unite. The different nations, long divided by petty wars and borders, suddenly came together under one banner: survival. And in their unity, something incredible emerged. The humans began to adapt. For the Xalorians, who had relied on their advanced technology and cunning strategies for so long, this new development was not just unexpected, it was terrifying. Humans, the weak creatures they had so arrogantly dismissed, were quickly becoming something else. They were becoming a threat. As the Xalorian fleet neared Earth's atmosphere, the humans were already preparing. They weren't using the advanced weapons the aliens had anticipated. No, the humans had something else. They used their minds. They used their creativity. They had figured out how to harness their primitive technology in ways no one could have predicted. The Xalorians were ready for battle, but they didn't know that this fight would be unlike anything they had ever faced. The humans weren't just fighting to defend their home. They were fighting for survival. And in the face of that kind of determination, the Xalorians were about to learn a hard truth. Sometimes, the most dangerous predator is the one who refuses to give up. The Xalorians had made one fatal mistake. They had thought themselves the apex predators of the galaxy, but now they would find out just how wrong they were. The moment the first Xalorian ship entered Earth's atmosphere, it was clear. The hunt had begun. And this time, the humans weren't the prey. As the battle began to unfold, it became evident. The humans would not go down without a fight. The Xalorians had no idea what they had just unleashed. But they would soon find out. And by then, it would be too late. The storm rises, unexpected alliances. The Xalorian fleet, composed of over 50 warships, loomed ominously above Earth. Their massive, sleek vessels were designed for one thing only: destruction. Each ship was an embodiment of alien perfection, sleek, sharp, and virtually indestructible to most enemies they had encountered. But as they descended toward Earth, something unexpected happened, something they had never experienced before. The first wave of human resistance hit without warning. The Silurians had expected Earth's primitive forces to scatter, to crumble before their superior technology. They had assumed that human governments would fall in an instant, their defenses like paper in the face of a hurricane. But instead, the first few human ships sent to intercept them were surprisingly effective. It was almost as if they knew exactly where to strike, like they had been waiting for this moment their entire existence. Aboard the lead Silurian flagship, Commander Gyrox, one of the most decorated warriors in the fleet, stood before a glowing screen, watching the unfolding events with disbelief. "What is this?" Gyrox hissed in disbelief as human ships, with primitive weapons that should have been useless against Silurian armor, were landing direct hits on their hulls. The Silurian ships had been designed to resist nearly every form of attack. Yet, somehow, the humans were making a dent. No, more than that. They were damaging the fleet. Gyrox's eyes narrowed. "This is impossible," Gyrox muttered. Back on Earth, the humans had only one thing in mind: survival. But they weren't fighting alone. In the shadows of the global crisis, something extraordinary was taking place. Nations that had long been rivals were coming together, setting aside their differences, driven by the primal instinct to protect their planet. The United States, Russia, China, and even smaller, lesser-known nations had joined forces. They knew this was their one shot. But there was something even more surprising. A group of humans had started communicating with their enemies. They weren't offering surrender. No, they were offering something much more dangerous: an alliance. The Silurians, having never considered such a possibility, were caught off guard when they intercepted the first transmission. It was a short, cryptic message, transmitted directly to the heart of their fleet. "We don't need your help, but we'll make sure you're not the ones to destroy us." This strange, almost defiant message came from a place the Silurians could not understand. It was not the message of a scared species, begging for mercy. No, this was the voice of someone who had found something within themselves, something that Silurians never thought humans could possess: a willingness to fight to the last breath. And then came the second transmission. The humans had something that Silurians never saw coming: knowledge. Not knowledge of technology or warfare, but knowledge of survival. Over the years, Earth's greatest minds have been working on something hidden from the rest of the world. A project designed for a threat like this, one that could never be imagined by any alien race. A weapon? No, an idea that would turn the tables. A perfect response to the Silurian onslaught. Humans had found a way to use their environment against them, to bend nature itself into a weapon that even the mightiest alien fleet would struggle to resist. The transmission came in a flurry of images, strange symbols, and scientific data. It was clear the Silurians didn't understand the message fully, but one word repeated itself like a chilling whisper: synthesis. It was a code, a signal for something big, something world-changing. But no one knew what it truly meant. Not yet. Meanwhile, the first shockwave of the war hit. The Silurian ships launched their full-scale attack, bombarding Earth's major cities with precision strikes. Buildings crumbled. Millions perished in an instant. It was everything the Silurians had expected, and more. But what they hadn't prepared for was the human response. As the Silurian ships unleashed hell upon the planet, the humans' response came with a fury that none could match. Strange, pulse-like beams of light shot from Earth's surface, striking the alien ships with deadly accuracy. These weapons, initially thought to be harmless, turned out to be powered by something far beyond the Silurians' understanding. A new form of energy was being harnessed by the humans, and it was far more powerful than the alien invaders ever imagined. One by one, the Silurian ships fell from the sky. The Silurians couldn't understand why their superior technology was being overwhelmed. They were no longer in control. In the heart of the Silurian fleet, Gyrox's blood ran cold. This wasn't just a fight for resources. This wasn't just an invasion. No, this was something deeper, something more primal. The humans were fighting with everything they had, and they were not backing down. As the skies above Earth darkened with smoke and fire, the Xalorians realized their biggest mistake. They had misjudged the humans. They thought they were nothing more than prey. But now they understood the truth. Humanity had just begun to rise. The reckoning, final showdown. The battle raged on, its fury like nothing the galaxy had ever witnessed. The skies above Earth were thick with smoke, and the air trembled with the roar of fallen ships. The Xalorians, once certain of their dominance, now found themselves caught in a war they could not control. They were no longer the apex predators of the galaxy. They were the hunted. Commander Gyrox stood at the command center of the flagship, his eyes scanning the chaos unfolding across the battlefield. His once pristine ships were now crippled, drifting in the void, their systems failing one by one. The humans, these so-called weak creatures, had done the impossible. They had turned the tide of war. And Gyrox knew, deep in his soul, that they were far from finished. The Xalorians had underestimated humanity's resolve, but now they were about to learn just how powerful the human spirit could be. The mysterious synthesis technology, the key to humanity's unexpected weaponry, was beginning to show its true potential. The weapon was not just a piece of advanced technology. It was a manifestation of human ingenuity, a blend of nature, technology, and sheer willpower. The Xalorians had come to Earth thinking they were invincible. Now they understood the terrible truth. They had awakened a sleeping giant, and they were not prepared for what followed. On Earth's surface, humanity's final plan was put into motion. The remaining human forces, now united more than ever, had managed to construct a massive device, hidden deep beneath the Earth's crust. It was the culmination of years of secret work, and it was the last hope for Earth's survival. They called it the Reckoning. It was a weapon beyond comprehension, a tool forged not from metal or firepower, but from the very forces of the planet itself. The Xalorians had long assumed they could destroy Earth's cities with ease. They never anticipated the human ability to adapt, to think beyond conventional tactics. As the Xalorian fleet regrouped for a final assault, they received a transmission from Earth. It was the same message they had received when they first arrived. Come and take it. But this time, it wasn't a challenge. This time, it was a warning. The reckoning was ready. As the Xalorian fleet closed in on Earth, the ground beneath them trembled. Suddenly, massive energy pulses shot from the planet's surface, more powerful than anything the Xalorians had ever seen. These pulses were not random. They were targeted, striking with surgical precision, disabling ship after ship. Each pulse was a reminder that Earth was no longer defenseless. The Xalorian ships tried to retaliate, launching counterattacks and deploying their deadliest weapons. But no matter what they threw at Earth, they could not break through. The Reckoning had unlocked the raw energy of the planet itself, its magnetic fields, its tectonic forces, its very core. The Xalorians, for all their might, could not fathom how the humans had harnessed such power. As the Xalorian flagship was struck by another pulse, Gyrox's heart pounded in his chest. His ship's systems flickered and failed, and in a final desperate act, he ordered all remaining forces to retreat. But it was too late. The Reckoning reached its climax. In a final burst of energy, Earth's forces activated a final weapon, an energy shockwave that ripped through space itself, sending a shockwave so powerful that it reached even the farthest corners of the solar system. The Xalorian fleet, unable to evade the blast, was obliterated in an instant. Their ships disintegrated, their warriors reduced to nothing more than stardust. The battle was over. Humanity had won. But the cost had been great. Earth's surface was scared, its cities in ruins, and millions of lives had been lost. Yet, in the ashes of destruction, something beautiful began to rise. The world's nations, once divided, now stood united, bound by the shared struggle to survive. The reckoning had not only saved humanity, it had reshaped the very fabric of Earth itself, making it stronger, more connected, and more resilient than ever before. Commander Gyrox and the remnants of his fleet, scattered across the galaxy, would live to tell the story of the day they learned that no matter how powerful an enemy seemed, no matter how certain their victory was, the most dangerous force in the universe was the will of a species to protect its home. The Xalorians had believed themselves the apex predators, but in the end, they had discovered the true power of humanity, a relentless, unyielding will to survive. And as the humans looked to the stars, they knew this victory was just the beginning. The universe, vast and mysterious, was theirs to explore, to protect, and to defend. The reckoning had not only saved them, it had shown them their place in the cosmos. For humanity had not only survived, it had risen.